All right, welcome everybody. It is Saturday, March 7th, noon Central Standard Time, and I want to say hello and welcome you to our Saturday Arbitrage Q&A. We want to talk about how to approach Amazon FBA as a beginner. So we're going to get into that, and we're going to discuss Amazon FBA. I know there's a lot of you out there that are maybe giving thought to e-commerce, to selling on Amazon. Maybe you're just starting to hear about this thing called Amazon FBA, and you're curious to know what is it. And I just want to introduce myself. I'm Eric Abbey. I've been selling on Amazon for over 5 years. I've been a member of Just One Dime's coaching membership for over 3 years. And joining me today is Allan Urizar. And Allan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here. I'm usually very excited to help the community, with Just One Dime. I'm also being a student of Just One Dime for a very, very long time. I've been selling on Amazon for about 3.5 years, and it's always very exciting to help the community and answer any questions that you guys have related to arbitrage.
Awesome. Glad to have you with me. Just One Dime is a coaching membership program that Allan and I have been very excited about for a long time. We have found the community to be extremely helpful, the content to be high level, the honesty of all the coaches and Seth Kniep himself, who started the whole thing, to be just people of integrity who shoot straight and are very helpful. So we're excited to be a part of Just One Dime. We're excited that in May, this is only like 2 months away, Allan.
Yes.
Ecom 2020 is coming, and this is just going to be a huge e-commerce conference, an e-commerce extravaganza. It's going to be a party and just a great time. We're gathering in Austin, Texas, and we are going to talk all things e-commerce. It's a deep dive on selling on Amazon. If you've never really heard of selling on Amazon, you're just starting to get into it, you're starting to think about e-commerce, this conference would be well worth the investment to get, boy, what a jump start that would be to your e-commerce business. If you're not a member of Just One Dime, you're warmly invited to come and participate. There's a link in the description below. If you click it and check out what we're doing, I think you'll see that it's an attractive conference. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank will be there. Seth Kniep will be there. Allan Urizar will be there. A lot of the other coaches. I'm excited to be there. I'm looking forward to being in Texas. We have James saying howdy from Houston down there in Texas. Matthew, hello. Jerry, Alafi, Salima, Nilton, welcome, guys. Glad to have you with us. We're going to get to your questions soon. And so I want this to be a robust time of you asking questions, of us trying to give our best answers, and discussing topics and various issues that you're having. If you've run up against an obstacle, if you're emotionally being pulled into a high or a low, we want to hear about that, because a lot of running your own e-commerce business and selling on Amazon is managing your heart, managing your mind, and those are really important components to just persevering and sticking with it, especially when challenges come your way and things get difficult. So let me invite you to come to Ecom 2020. Check the link out below. And make that investment. I'm telling you, a year from now, 5 years from now, you'll be really glad that you made decisions to do things like that, because they will give you a boost like nothing else could. Our links to our memberships are below as well. We're talking arbitrage today. We have an Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. The first link in the description will take you to a summary of what we do in that membership. And again, it's an investment worth considering, because we believe that you can really build a long-term business that establishes real margin in your budget, so that you can do the things that you want to do and not feel like you're trapped in a budget that you can barely make work, or you can't get out of debt in order to get the kind of freedom that you need. Something like this can get you back to the line of scrimmage, so to speak, so that you can then have a plan for moving forward and doing the things that you want to do. And for Allan and I both, Amazon FBA was a huge breakthrough for our e-commerce businesses, really for our businesses in general. We're both men who have been of a mind to own and run businesses in the past, but it can be really hard. They're not flexible. You can wind up feeling enslaved to the business. And we both like Amazon, and we like e-commerce because they're more nimble. We can work on our businesses at all kinds of times and from all different locations. And we find that it's a lot easier for the business, therefore, to serve us and our goals and our priorities than in a lot of other scenarios. So if you're starting to sniff around Amazon and think about this approach, that's one of the biggest reasons we commend it to you. It's just a really great strategy to pursue. Alan, I want to ask you to just kind of summarize, and then we'll get into some of the details, but give a summary as to what Amazon FBA is. What does it stand for? What does it accomplish? And just kind of from a 30,000-foot standpoint.
Sure. Well, Amazon has a program called FBA, which is Fulfillment by Amazon, where every seller that sells on Amazon can utilize this service. And of course, they have fees and they have a membership where you have to sign up for a membership in order to get to the back office where you can have your inventory and everything. But once you start finding products and start sending those products to, you can start sending those products to Amazon. And basically, once Amazon receives that product on their warehouse, they're going to take care of everything else. First of all, the advantage that I see, with Amazon is that they have the customers. They have, I think it's about 105 million people that use Prime, and total is about 156 million people that shops on Amazon every month. And then they have the customers. They have all, a lot of people buying products every day. The statistics estimate that every minute there's about 4,000 orders generated on Amazon. So I know that if I buy products and I send them to Amazon, I can be part of the infrastructure where every customer that has a Prime account or everybody that wants to buy on Amazon is gonna see my products. They're gonna be able to buy it, and Amazon takes care of all the fulfillment, the pick and pack, shipment, and customer service. So basically, my part of the job is to find good products, good quality products, and then send them to Amazon, and they take care of everything else. There is a fee. It's about all the fees together. It's about 26 to 30% of your sales price. And a lot of people might think that it's very high. But for example, if you buy something for $10 and you're able to sell it for $30, minus the FBA fees, you're still getting your $10 back, and then you're making $10. So that's the formula that we've been using for a very long time. And I know you do a little bit better than I do on profits, but that's basically everything we do. We find products, very good high quality products in the stores. We send them to Amazon FBA, and they take care of all the sales, and we're able to generate profit that way.
Good. That's really helpful. Salim and Nicole, I see your questions. We'll get to those soon. Guy, I see your statement. Give us a couple questions. Why are you stuck? How can we help you get unstuck? Miss Miriam, my world, my way. Hi. Arase, I see you guys. We're going to get to the questions in just a minute. I just want us to kind of round out our conversation about FBA. One, what I hear you saying, Alan, is that there is really a e-commerce platform, no other e-commerce platform like Amazon, and that's absolutely true. I mean, who do you not know that sells on Amazon or that buys from Amazon? What I'm trying to say is that when you think of your family and your friends, is there anyone that you can think of that doesn't make purchases on Amazon? Now, some of us are more into it than others. I am buying from Amazon with significant consistency. I have their credit card, so I get the 5% that I put back into my purchases. But I mean, people love it. They trust Amazon. Amazon has established a reputation of being high on customer service, solid in its return policy. If you're a Prime member, you get quick shipping. You can get items right to your door quickly. And so its popularity alone allows you as a seller to just immediately turn your business up big time. And the FBA system that they've developed enables a guy like me to scale. So, years ago, I started selling on eBay, and I did it just because I liked to fund some of my hobbies. So I would read and I would buy, all variety of books. and I'd usually buy them from eBay. And the way I justified it back when I was single and didn't have very much money, I would sell books on eBay and just use those whatever money I garnered to buy new books that I wanted. And that way I didn't have to add a budget line for buying books. So I had the concept of how I could take something that I had in my home and, get money for it through eBay. And I liked that. I thought it was cool, when eBay first came around, how cool that I could be in the Northeast of the US and sell to some guy in Phoenix, Arizona and ship it off. And there was the money in my PayPal account and all that was really cool. But when I started thinking about actually adding margin to my budget, I just couldn't really scale that. I could maybe make 50 or $100 a month with some minimal work. But if I was going to really scale, I couldn't conceive of how I could, find boxes, pack everything up that I sold, ship them off, pay all the shipping costs. It just was overwhelming. And so to get to any sizable margin seemed impossible. Amazon FBA is when I learned that existed, and Amazon takes care of all that. They warehouse your products. They take them off the shelf when you make a sale and pack it. And I don't have to do any of that. And then they ship it and they provide the customer service, and that I could take advantage of their Prime platform. So if I'm selling a product and a shopper comes along and clicks on that listing, if it's fulfilled by Amazon, they get all the perks and benefits that they would get if it was direct from Amazon. And I think 90% of the time, the customer doesn't even know any different. They just see that it's Prime. They know that Amazon stands behind it. They'll get it in 1 or 2 days, according to the shipping, and they can return it if they need to. And so, now that I'm selling 1,200, 1,300 items a month, sometimes more, I contribute it all to the Amazon FBA process. Now, before we move to the questions and keep them coming, guys, Alan, what are a couple advantages that we haven't mentioned yet that you can think of when it comes to using Amazon FBA over and against some other method?
Well, to me, the biggest advantage that I have is that I'm able to build my inventory using Amazon warehouses. I'm able to put as much inventory as I want, as I can, based on my capital into the system. And I sometimes and for the last maybe 2 years, I've been able to work very hard for a few months, build up my inventory, and then take a week or 2 weeks off where I get to travel. I still manage my business. I don't do a lot of shopping or sourcing, but I'm able to manage my business. And for a lot of people that are maybe they don't want to travel specifically, but they want to be able to have some more time with family, or just to stay home, or spend time with their family. You can work very hard for a few months, a few weeks, building that inventory, and then once you start getting those sales, you can take it all, take it easy and focus on something else, and then you can come back and keep building your business. Last 2 years, I've been able to spend almost 2 months traveling, visiting family, going to different countries, and my business doesn't suffer because I put a lot of work at the end of the year, or in the middle of the year. I build my inventory, and then when I'm off and traveling, I'm just managing my business. I have a few people that help me, so I'm just managing my virtual assistants, and then I'm able to just travel. That's being my biggest advantage, having a business on Amazon, because before I did Amazon, I was a truck driver, and I did that for 9 years. And every week I will get off, I will leave my house for Monday, come back Friday. Sometimes it will take me 7-10 days before I could come back, home. And I will miss, all kinds of events and birthdays and all, time with my family. So my goal was to find a business where I could have more time with my family and be able to travel. And I've been doing that for the last 2 years, and my business is still good, and it keeps growing.
Yeah, and it's really fun to be able to do that. A couple of real practical, kind of nitty gritty advantages to FBA. One, I think you can sell your product for a higher price because, one, you're using the Amazon platform where demand is up, but the FBA model allows you to win the buy box at a higher rate. And so the buy box is that little area where a customer will come in and when they first click on a product and are presented with a listing, they can add it to cart. And the only way you can make sales is by winning that buy box. And if you use Amazon FBA, you're more likely to win that buy box, which means you're going to sell more. And my experience has been that you can sell at a higher price because Amazon prioritizes those sellers who are using FBA. You can increase your price. So if I'm competing with somebody who's not using FBA on Amazon and they're selling for like $19.95, I found that I can sell my product at $20.95, sometimes $21.95. I'm still going to be winning the buy box and selling the product. And I also have talked to enough people to know that there are a lot of customers out there that are unwilling to purchase products on Amazon from third-party sellers directly. And I don't ever have to worry about that because I go all in with Amazon FBA. And when they see the Prime symbol, they see that it's fulfilled by Amazon. So it'll say, offered by X, whatever your store name is, and fulfilled by Amazon. They're happy because they know that Amazon stands behind it. So we just think there's a ton of advantages to Amazon FBA, both because you're selling on Amazon, but also because you can hone in on this FBA feature where they're doing the work for you. It enables you to scale. And then there's a myriad of advantages. I think you save money doing Amazon FBA in fees because even though you're giving Amazon a significant percentage of your fees, you're not paying to ship anything to individual customers. So if I sell something on eBay and it weighs 1.5 pounds, I've got to pay $8 to $15 to ship that somewhere. And if they're buying it from, Seattle or something, and I'm here in Vermont, I'm going to have to pay a significant amount to get that out to them. So there's fees built into the FBA system, but you manage those. And that's in the membership. We teach you how to find products that are going to have the kind of margin and the kind of profit that enable you to absorb those fees and make really good money. And we do a deep dive on all the details of how to do Amazon FBA. I like Nicole's question, so I think we should start with this one. She says, hello, how does reselling work when working with Amazon FBA, like having one item per product? So this is how it works, Nicole. You find products that you can sell on Amazon and purchase at a discounted rate, and you can do that in a myriad of ways. You can just start with local retail stores, focus on clearance sections, discount sales, going out of business sales, things like that. You can start by looking around your house and finding items that you could sell on Amazon. But the point is, when you've gathered up a handful of products, in order to take advantage of Amazon FBA, what you do is you bundle all those products together and you ship them in one large shipment to an Amazon fulfillment center. And so you do that through Amazon Seller Central. You set up an account with Amazon as a seller. It's free for you to begin as an individual seller. You just have to give them the certain documentation, establish yourself as a seller at Amazon Seller Central, and then you can those products can be listed in your managed inventory so that you're matching the product with the listing that already exists on Amazon, and then you ship all that, box it, and ship it to Amazon in one big shipment. So you do have to make that shipment, and you have to pay for that shipment. Though Amazon has a partnered carrier with UPS, and it's amazing how, I'll pack up a 40-pound box that's 22 inches cubed and ship it, and they charge me like $6. It blows my mind. But and so once you do that, your products are out of sight, out of mind, and they go live on Amazon. And now when your items sell, Amazon is doing the work like we talked about earlier. And then every couple of weeks, your profits get put into your Amazon Seller Central account with the fees deducted. And every couple of weeks, they issue you a paycheck. Mine gets electronically transferred right into my business checking account, and you're off to the races. So, Nicole, it's not that complicated of a concept. You just have to figure out the steps. And it's why we commend the membership, because in the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership that you can find in the link below, we walk you step by step through the process of how to get set up, how to get started, and how to think about what products you're going to sell on Amazon. Because, Nicole, you're not going to be able to just sell any old product on Amazon. And even if it's a cool product that is legitimately a good product, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to sell quickly on Amazon. So we teach you how to figure out. Amazon publishes all the data as to what items sell quickly, how they're ranked, and learning how to pick a high quality product, a product that's actually going to sell, is a big part of being effective. So you're connecting your product to the listing, and then you're shipping it off. And Amazon holds this in fulfillment centers, and they move it around the country and have all your products ready to go so that they can fulfill those orders using their Prime method. Salima is wondering, and you can answer this, Alan, do you do RA or OA? So she's asking, do you do retail arbitrage or do you do online arbitrage, and why? So maybe talk about the difference between the two, and then say what you focus on.
Sure. We do both. Right now, retail arbitrage is about 60 or 70% of our business. Online arbitrage is another 30 to 40%. And the difference is retail arbitrage, we go to the stores, to Walmart, all these different stores, and we look for products every week. I've been able to scale my business using other people and training other people to do that for me. And then you can do online arbitrage, which is going to Walmart.com and Target.com and Costco.com, and just searching there and finding products, ordering those online. I usually get them to my house. When I'm traveling, I use a prep center that receives my product. They check it, they prep it, and then they send it to Amazon. If I'm home, if I could show you my room right here, right now, it's full of products that I'm in the process of creating a shipment. And we ship every week. We have people that is sourcing for us, and they bring products, and then we'll prep it and send it to Amazon. So you can use both. You can do both models. The only difference is that the one is online and the other one's retail, but we use the same strategies. We use the same metrics to find products, and then we just send everything to Amazon.
Good. Salima, I don't think it's easier to start either RA or OA first. In my opinion, you'd be best served to start with both, because what arbitrage is, from my perspective, is it's a treasure hunt to find opportunities where you can encounter products that you're able to make money on. I mean, you could find products and sell them on Amazon easy by just going to your retail store, buying a bunch of products and selling them on Amazon. The challenge is finding products that you'll make money on. Mm-hmm. So, by the time you've got FBA fees to consider, and you do have to ship the products in, and you're running a business, so you have to buy labels and do other things to take care of your business. You have to have margin in your products, right? So you have to be able to find a product at a low enough price and be able to sell it at a high enough price on Amazon that you're making good profit after FBA fees and everything else that's incorporated in it. So to me, how I view arbitrage is I'm looking for opportunities where I can find products at that discounted rate. And I know that they're all over the place. I've found them week after week. I try to come on this program and show you guys examples of what I'm finding, but I'm amazed at what, just you might live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and for some reason the manager of a Home Depot there decides to put these tools on clearance because he wants to get them out of the store and make room on the shelf for something else. And his reason for doing that might be very unique to the Tulsa area, and it doesn't mean that nationwide the price of those tools is changing whatsoever. But so if you can get in there and get a hold of those at a 75% discount because this guy just wants to get rid of them, you can turn around and market them to the whole country and beyond through Amazon and get a premium price for them. So that's the basic concept. But you're looking for those opportunities because you're not going to just, stroll into any old store and find those kind of deals. You need to be opportunistic. You need to look at clearance sections. You need to look at discount websites. You need to look at, mainstream websites, but go to the discount area, find out what they're selling. Take advantage of seasonal sales. Take advantage of going out of business sales. And figure that out, and figure it out online, figure it out locally in your retail area. To me, the more tools you can put in your tool belt to find opportunities, the more likely you're going to be to have success. Alan, why don't you give a shot at answering RSA's question? When selling on Amazon for RA, how do you list an item that you just bought? And he says, for example, from Target, so you don't get in trouble with IP claims. Used, like new, new. So give a little background to how you list an item after you've purchased it through RA, and then mention what's being discussed with IP claims.
Okay. Usually when I'm in the store, I'm gonna be scanning products with my phone using the Amazon app or other apps that are available. And as soon as I find something that meets my criteria, then I'm gonna check and see if I'm able to sell it, because sometimes depending on the seller, you might have restrictions, and if a product is restricted for you to sell, you can request Amazon to get approved to sell that product. If I get approved right there, then I will buy it, and then I take it home. And when I take it home, I do a second check. So I always check when I'm scanning at the stores, and then when I'm home, I double check all the items. And one of the things that we're looking for is we're looking and making sure that it's first of all, it's a product that is a retail product. So for example, if I buy something that it's a product that it looks like it's a private seller or a private label seller, I'm gonna try to stay away from those, because I know those sellers tend to file complaints or intellectual property complaints on Amazon. So I try to stay away from those. But if I see that the product has history of 5-10 sellers moving all the time, I'm more comfortable buying my product. The second thing is that I always buy very low units. So I try to buy 2 to 5 units, because I want to get into that listing, be able to sell 2, 3, 4, 5 units within a month and a half, and then get out. And usually I don't have items that I'm replenishing every month, because I'm trying to get in, get out very fast, and I have a lot of products that I buy. So I don't run into the situation very often where I get IP complaints. And then I've been using another tool lately that is called IP Alert. They have a database of all the different brands that usually have a history of making IP complaints to Amazon. And that app, I have it on my Chrome. It's a Chrome extension, and as soon as I look at that product, the extension is going to tell me, this is a good product, or it gives me a warning. This brand is known for filing IP complaints on Amazon. So I try to stay away from those, and that's the way I do it now.
Good. If the product that you're selling on Amazon matches the listing that you're using precisely, brand, series, type, whatever, if it's a one-to-one match, then you're allowed to sell the item on Amazon, and as long as it's a new item, you can sell it as new, and we would tell you to sell it as new. And then if an IP complaint comes your way, if a brand rights owner says something about intellectual property regarding your item, you've kept your invoices and your receipts, I would hope, and you can appeal that complaint to Amazon. And if they see that you indeed have a legitimate product, then you're fine. And so you don't need to be functioning out of fear or trying to avoid IP complaints entirely. I mean, I want to avoid them, but if they happen, Amazon's just trying to sort through who out here has integrity and is selling legitimate products, and who's offering counterfeit, knockoff garbage. And when you can demonstrate that you're selling the real thing, then Amazon's going to work with you. Salima, I don't recommend any particular number of hours per week for sourcing. If you want to expand your opportunities, devote more time to it. But I'm trying to just manage my life well, so that my business is serving the other things that are more important to me, like my family and my ministry and stuff like that. So I limit it, and I try to keep it to about 10 hours a week. But if I didn't have 4 kids, I would spend more time doing it. And, or if this was my full-time job, I would spend a lot more time doing it. So, I mean, you manage that how you want. And Alan alluded to this earlier, but what's cool is, some weeks I've stumbled on like a really good opportunity that takes a bunch of time or something. And I can flex my other things, and maybe I would do 20 hours that particular week, but then I can take the next week and maybe do nothing at all or back off some. So it's flexible, right? You just kind of build it in around the rest of your schedule. James is saying that the challenge for him at the moment is budget. He's brand new to FBA, and he's wondering if there's a realistic product to seek and sell with a limited budget, or would it be better to source some other way to build up funds, then do FBA? So I think he's talking private label there a little bit, maybe. But so speak to just how you can use arbitrage to gain a little bit of momentum to get some payback, Alan, so that you have money to reinvest in doing more arbitrage, or maybe eventually launching a product with your own brand labeled on it.
Well, for me, the best opportunity is it's always being with arbitrage, especially if I don't have a lot of money, or if you're starting up and your budget is limited. Just to give an example, this week I found a product that I was able to buy it on Sears.com. The product is $37. Amazon is selling it for $127. So if I buy 3 of those items, send them to Amazon, and I'm able to sell them, let's say, it takes me a whole month to sell those 3 items. I just did almost $300 worth of profit. Let's say 27 plus, FBA fees. Let's say that I spend $50 on that item, but I'm selling it for $127. I'm making about $70 each, on each sale. If I can get those kind of sales, and instead of selling 3 units every month, and I can start with 1 unit, I can start with 2 units, and just try to double my money every month. The next month I'm gonna be able to buy, instead of spending $75, I'm able to spend $150 or $200, and then you just keep doubling that. The faster you double your money, instead of doubling your money every month, you do it every week or every 2 weeks, the faster you're gonna start building more capital and being able to invest more. The difference that I see with private label, and I do private label, I have a few products that I'm working on right now, is that I have to spend $3,000-$4,000 up front to buy the product, because I don't want to buy 1 unit. Now with private label, I want to buy 300, maybe 500 units at a time, and then I have to wait until I get that product to Amazon, start selling that product, do all the optimize my listing, create pictures, all of that work up front without seeing any money. And then maybe 2 months down the road, I'm gonna start seeing some profits out of it. The model it works very well. A lot of people do very well with private label, but it's just a longer process. It takes more time, and it takes more capital up front. So I rather just go to Walmart today, today, buy a few items, send them to Amazon, and within 10-15 days, I'm making profit.
Good. Francisco's wondering if when you start with little money, like you're saying, you're buying 1 piece at a time or very small quantities, is it better to ship yourself through FBM, fulfillment by merchant, or would you still send that small quantity of items into FBA?
I rather send everything to FBA, but I do, even if I buy only a few units, I try to get at least 25 units before I do my shipment. Because if you do only a few units, you might end up spending a lot of money on shipping. So for example, if I get 25, maybe 30 units together, and then I create my shipment, I end up spending 75 cents or 80 cents per unit on shipping. So it takes me it can take you a week or 2 weeks to kind of put together 25, 30 items. And then when you ship it to Amazon, it's going to be, if you're paying 80 cents per unit to ship to Amazon, it's going to be way, way less expensive than if I sell this item FBM, and then I need to ship it to the customer. I might end up spending, $5 or $6, depending on the weight of the product, to ship it to the customer. So after all the fees, I'm almost better off sending everything to Amazon. Most of the time, I'm better off sending everything to Amazon.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. And Francisco, I just challenge you to try to push yourself a little bit. I get what it's like to have little money. I remember when I started, but
yeah,
maybe if you are thinking conservatively, but you find a product that really fits your conservative numbers. The BSR is really low, the margin's really good. Press yourself a little bit to go for it on a product like that, because it could really help you get rolling. But once you get the momentum going, you're only talking a few weeks. If you really put one foot in front of the other and hit the pavement, you'll get enough momentum where you'll have the 25 or 30 items that Alan's talking about, and maybe even on a weekly basis. Yeah. Now, looking at Lorena's question, which I love because she's suggesting that she's maxed her capacity, sending in 350 to 400 items a month, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do that or a little bit more. And so here maybe is another example of somebody who's out there doing it. This can be done. But she's wondering, Alan, and you'll be a great one to answer this. How do you start outsourcing if you've maxed your capacity? You're just trying to do this all on your own with other exigencies in life going on. Sure. How would you outsource, and what would you try to delegate first?
Well, the first thing that I was able to delegate in my business was having other people find products for me. Because I was spending a lot of time during the week just going from store to store to store. So I trained somebody else to be able to find products for me. They don't have to be experts, but there's tools that will help you train people and just have them search for products, and whenever they find something, they can buy it for you. And we kind of talk a little bit more about that in the membership. And so I was able to find other people to buy for me. And then on the other side, when I get all the product and I need to prep all of that and ship it to Amazon, if I'm here at home and I can do it myself, I will do it myself. But usually I have a prep center also that I can send products to them. And instead of me being able to, let's say, ship 300 units a month, with a prep center I can double that amount. So I can now, with a prep center, I can do my 300 at home, and then I can maybe do another 300 or 500 more, using a prep center. And I know people that they use up to 3 prep centers because they're buying products, they're sending to one prep center in Florida, another one in Texas, and then they're just shipping a lot more units every week.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see, I just lost track of my thinking here.
I've been lost for like 5 minutes. I don't know where you are in the questions.
I was going to mention, VAs, virtual assistants, are a great way to tackle outsourcing, and we have a whole section of our membership that we devote part of our bonus material on thinking through virtual assistants. So it's just another great thing that we have in our membership. I think if you're just starting on Amazon, our membership would serve you nicely. And if you've been selling for a while and doing arbitrage for a while, but you just want to push your business to the next level, the membership that we have linked below would really be helpful. So take a look at that for sure. What was the first items you sold on Amazon? I can remember my first experience when I first learned about Amazon FBA, and I was pretty nervous. It was the winter of 2014. It was December, and I bought like 4 or 5 items from Toys R Us, and one that I remember being a good seller because I sold it, and I was excited that it worked. And then I sold several more because I went back and bought more. It was like this little BMX bike figure who the toy like rolls down a ramp and then does little tricks. And I was selling those right before Christmas, and they were selling really good. What'd you hold up, Alan?
This is my first item that I sold. I have it framed because this was, the item that opened my eyes, and I decided this is it. This is the next business I'm running. You can see right there, I made $16 in profit. It cost me $8, and it was Adidas medium. It was just like a bag, like a gym bag from Adidas. I paid $8. I was able to sell it for $37.99. You can say right there, $37.99, and I end up doing $16 in profit. I frame this because this changed my life.
Yeah.
And I keep it here close by, and I usually, it reminds me that I didn't even know I was able to sell. You could sell on Amazon in 2016. I learned about it within a few months. I was selling a few units. I decided to sell my business, and I talked to my wife and I told her, why don't we sell our business? We can get about $50,000-$70,000, off of that sale. And within, we can try to sell it within 3 months from August until December. And if we're able to sell the business, then we jump in and we just do Amazon full time. And I sold the business within 2 weeks. I sold it like August 15. I was already closing the deal. I was getting the money, and we just jumping into Amazon, right after that. And my first sale was June 19, 2016. So it took me just a few months to kind of do everything and just jumping, and I never looked back from there.
That's really cool. Let's see. Let's try to pick up the pace a little bit and get to more of these questions. Winter Flower, for the invoice you submit when Amazon loses your products, is it optional to omit pricing information? I don't know. I don't know why you would want to omit it, but I mean, that's kind of your personal call. But so what's being mentioned here is there are times when Amazon will lose your stuff, or they'll receive a shipment and they'll show one less than you sent in. And all you have to do, you can have them investigate that, and you submit an invoice or a receipt, and they are pretty good at reimbursing you for items like that. I suppose it may be optional. You might be able to omit the pricing information. I just submit the receipt, and I don't really worry about it. Brian, what types of products should I be looking for as a new seller? We get this question a lot, and my answer is anything you can find and sell. Went to a bunch of stores this week, couldn't find anything profitable that I was allowed to sell. Brian, I would just say just continue looking and follow just kind of the simple methods we've talked about. It's not rocket science, but you focus on clearance sections, focus on stuff that's going to be a little dynamic, So I can just think of, I'll stop at the same store 4 or 5 times before I discover something because they're going to mark it on clearance at a particular time when they've decided to, and I want to be there when it's fresh and jump on it. But there's going to be a lot of times you're going to go and not find anything and just try more stores. But I just don't think there's a type of product that you should, limit yourself to. The type of product is the type that, is going to be discounted or clearanced in some manner. And so just trying to think through where you could find that in particular stores. Like I know where all the clearance end caps are in Home Depot and Lowe's, and I try to work as efficiently as I can. So when I hit those stores, boom, boom, I'm hitting the clearance end caps. If I don't find anything, I'm getting out of there and I'm going to go to the next store because just my time is tight. If there are times when I do RA and I've got more time and I might actually walk the aisles and see if something jumps out to me, I will find amazing clearance deals just in the middle of the aisle somewhere. They just didn't move it to a clearance end cap. But don't limit yourself. Try to navigate restrictions. You're going to have to deal with that. All of us are dealing with restrictions. Because I noticed, Brian, you say you found some good deals on toys and electronics, but you're restricted. You're probably not restricted in the whole category. You're probably restricted in particular brands. And so don't assume like you can't sell toys because the whole category is restricted. There's probably lots of toys you can sell. You just need to push through the restrictions that you see and find products that you can actually sell. Matthew, I bought 3 kids cups on clearance to gain over 100% ROI. And right after I bought them, another seller cut the price in half. And that drives me crazy. It happens. Matt, what I'd do is just wait until that seller sells theirs, especially because you say they only have one, and hold fast to your price. And this is where the product research is extremely important, because if you buy a high quality product that has really good data behind it, it's going to sell. You can let, other people kill the price if they want to. And if it's a good selling product, they're going to sell out of yours. I do that all the time. I hold my price and wait all the time. So that's what I would recommend you do. You say further on, other sellers have yet to budge on price. I would lose all profit if the price sticks. Should I return the cups? So you haven't even sent them in yet. That's a hard decision. I almost never return products because I've just had bad experiences with retailers returning, especially with multiple quantities and stuff. I'm not telling you what to do. I would probably send them in because I trust the research I'm doing. So if the numbers have told me it's going to sell at a profit and it's going to sell quickly, then I just know I can compete against these other people. But you've got to make your own decision with that. Ricochel, welcome. If I have a product with 2 different MS SKUs, I already closed one of them, but I still see it in my inventory. Can I delete the already closed? Would that delete my listing? You know what's being asked there, Alan?
Yes, usually if you already sold that product, you're gonna be able to delete that SKU from your inventory. But sometimes it stays there because the product is still in process and it's not it's not out of the whole system yet. So you're gonna be able to see it there even though you don't have any more inventory.
Right.
But yeah, once it goes out of the system, then you're going to be able to delete those SKUs from your inventory.
Good. Nicole, yes, you have to label each item unless you pay Amazon to do it, which I don't want to give Amazon any more of my money than I have to. So yeah, I label each item. You need to prep your items when you send them into an Amazon fulfillment center. So if I'm sending in a bunch of T-shirts, I need to make sure that they're in poly bags and they're going to be protected. And I want them to look good, so I'm going to make sure those shirts are folded nicely, that they're put in a poly bag, they're clean, they're presentable. I want to do whatever I can so that when the customer receives the item, he or she is satisfied and happy. And you do have to put what's called an FN SKU on each product. And when Alan alluded earlier to prep centers, now what you're doing is you're paying a small fee for a warehouse location to do that prep work that you're talking about. But I don't find it to be a big burden. I go out in the garage and I put on some music and I just do the work and send it in and I make good money. So yes, you do have to label each item. Alan is engaged in our Spanish memberships. By the way, Just One Dime has a Spanish membership for both private label and for arbitrage. And you can ask us for more information on those if you're interested. So Pamela's saying she purchased her membership for Just One Dime yesterday, requested to join the private Facebook group, but didn't get any answers yet. How long does it usually take?
It usually takes about 24 hours. So if you're still waiting, just send us an email and we'll be able to help you out.
Good. Carrie, welcome. Look forward to meeting you in Austin. Glad you're going to be there. I'm
Awesome.
a happy Just One Dime arbitrage member heading overseas next week. Alan, will Amazon let me access Seller Central without concern internationally, or do you suggest a VPN?
I use a VPN just because I want to make sure I don't get my account suspended and I'm not here to be able to get any documents or anything they ask me. So I usually use a VPN, and every time I'm outside. Last year I went to Europe, and every time I was before I would log in, I would just turn on my VPN, log in, and I didn't have any issues. I've been doing that for almost 3 years now.
Great. Winter Seller, if you sell on Amazon US from another country and decide to go on vacation, can you access your account from different locations without any problem? That's kind of the same question, I guess.
Same question.
So the answer is yes. We recommend using a VPN just to keep it safe. Is there any discount for Ecom 2020 or Just One Dime members? No, Pamela, there is not. We try to keep the prices on these things as low as we can. And I'm convinced it's a really good price for the benefit that you're going to get. So again, click on the link below, take a look at the link to Ecom 2020 and decide if it's a good investment for you. If you have a different mindset when you think about investing for the sake of your business. And I've learned that over time. When I'm thinking of where do I want my business to be by the end of 2020, I'm investing money in a lot of different things to kind of make that move forward. And so to be at a conference like Ecom 2020 and to be around the people I'm going to be around and to learn the things I'm going to learn, it's really hard to put a price tag on that. So I think our price is very reasonable, and I would just encourage you to check it out, because I think it's hard for me to imagine that a year from now you'd look back and see and be convinced that money was not well spent. Ryan, either way will work, but FBA usually sells faster because some people like myself, when I go to Amazon, first click Prime logo, that's right. Yeah, so he's advocating FBA like we were. Francisco, when you start with little money, we already talked about that. When looking at BSR, am I looking at BSR of the top level category or subcategories? Brian is asking.
Now I want to look at the top level, the main category. And I usually recommend that you look at the average for the last 90 days at least to see that it's a stable number. It's not just something that jumped in the last 2 days and it's going to go down.
Good. Ryan P is bringing up something interesting. He's kind of saying, I mean, it's amazing how hand sanitizer and face masks have gone into demand given everything related to the coronavirus. But what we are seeing is that Amazon is learning, and I'll be honest, I like this. You know, they're learning to kind of up their game with ethics, and I hope that is happening in every nook and cranny of the Amazon marketplace. But, you know, they're really trying to stay on top of price gouging. And, you know, it's one thing to take advantage of a supply and demand market, which I'm a big fan of, economically speaking, and certainly as a seller, but it's another to just be unethical about it. And so, you know, I have a hard time imagining buying hand sanitizer for $99.95 or whatever is kind of going on there. What you'll find is that Amazon's on top of that. And so there are certain products where when the price reaches a certain cap, everybody loses the buy box. In other words, you can find the product, but when it's first clicked on, there's no add to cart option. It'll say, what does it say?
See other sellers.
Yeah, see other sellers here. You can click, people can click and go purchase the product. And, you know, I sell a lot of products, even when there's no buy box like that, because I'm not sure Amazon's algorithm is always faithful. So there's times when it's like, this is a really reasonable price, and for some reason they've killed the buy box. But in other instances, it is just a legitimate supply and demand. You know, it's Christmas time. You're happening to be selling frozen products, and, you know, all the 6-year-old girls like my daughter are scrambling for that gift, and just demand is up, and so price is up. That's very natural. But you will see in certain cases when, you know, you're the only seller and you just really jack the price, that Amazon will kind of slap your hand on that. Usually they deactivate the listing and warn you. But you do want to give that consideration, because Amazon's going to start cracking down and maybe even, you know, giving pretty severe warnings or suspending your account due to what they're calling price gouging. Is it harder to be approved from restricted items if you're a new seller? Nicola is asking.
Yes, usually Amazon will base their decision on your performance. So if you're a new seller, you don't really have a lot of history. So the first thing you want to know is you want to build sales history on your account. And my advice is always focus on items that you can sell. Try to start selling, you know, 20, 40, 50 units a month. And within a few months, you're going to start seeing that every time you find something and you apply, a lot of times Amazon is going to approve your application, and you're going to start opening up to other opportunities and other brands.
Yeah, that's right. Brian is asking, on the seller app, sometimes it doesn't show a BSR at all. What should you do? Don't buy the product. If it doesn't show a BSR, it means that it has no rank. So there's no precedent for that item to have sold. And so we recommend that you just pass it over. That would be a really good example of a product that's not a high quality product. It might be that you can get a really good deal on it. And it might be that it appears to you to be a really good product. But if there's no BSR, there's no precedent that it's sold on Amazon. There's no reason to think that you'll be able to sell it on Amazon. Tammy, what to keep ROI percentage when RA sourcing? I say 100%. I work really hard to achieve 100% ROI on all my purchases. With that said, you know, in my mind, I kind of have a sliding scale that I've never, you know, applied scientific precision to. But the lower the BSR, the lower the ROI I'm kind of willing to go after. So, you know, if I could buy 10 products at $30 and the BSR is screaming low, so I know all 10 of those products will sell in a month, and I can make, $15 to $20 per product. That ROI, now you're only talking 50% ROI or something like that, but that's kind of nice to be able to sell 10 products quickly like that and make that kind of money. So my general rule of thumb, though, is 100% ROI, which follows what we teach in the membership, which is we call the 3X rule. Matthew, I bought a toy with slightly different color packing, but otherwise is the same. Is there any reason I shouldn't send it to Amazon? The way I approach that, Matt, is that if I'm sure that the product itself is a precise match, then I don't mind too much if the packaging is a little different. But I'm gonna double and triple check that it's actually a match. So the product must be the same color as what's indicated in the listing, because I don't want the customer to get the wrong product. Now there are some listings where it says product may vary or color may vary, and then that, now that's kind of a catch-all for multiple colors to be sold under that listing, and then you could send it in. But my instinct, Matt, is no, I don't think you should worry about sending it in if the packaging is the only thing that's different, but be very careful to make sure that's the only difference. And then I would probably say there's a small risk that the customer's going to get it and you apply some common sense. And so, is it an old version of the same item? That might not be a good situation. Or, do you think the customer is going to be startled by the fact that it doesn't match the picture in the precise way with the packaging? Right. So then it kind of depends. Is it a subtle difference or a big difference?
I worry sometimes when it's something like I know it's a collectible item, or I know it's something that people that collect items will buy, because they're gonna be more picky about what they're getting. But if it's something like clothing or I remember the best example for me is cornflakes. I sell cornflakes, and sometimes the packaging is just a little bit different. It has kind of everything, but it's missing one little logo or something. I don't care. I know that box is not worth anything. But if it's something like a Lego or like a Star Wars, toy, especially if it's expensive, I know the person that is buying it, they're gonna be very concerned about the packaging if they don't get the right one.
Good. Salima, I try to send in a minimum of 100 products a week, but I don't get upset if I can't hold to that all the time. I just want to keep my inventory up, do the best I can, but it's opportunity driven. I get that. Is there a trick to getting approved in toys? No, Tammy. First of all, like I said earlier, I don't think it's not an approval for the whole category. It's individual brands, certain items. And the more toys you sell, the more opportunities you'll have to have restrictions lifted. I'm trying to move fast. Our hour's coming to a close. With a big amount of returns on Amazon, do you think twice on selling expensive products? I don't. I'm selling a ton of products. Some of them are expensive. Some of them aren't. I'm doing it based on percentages, right? So if the ROI is good, the risk really isn't that different. Now, I'll confess that sometimes I see expensive products returned, and it is a little painful, but I try not to micromanage my business that enough to know all the details. But no, I mean, there's no more, from an objective standpoint, there's no more risk there. And so I don't really worry about it too much. Keep moving. When you say unit, what? I don't understand that question. I'm going to keep moving. Did you cover how to get ungated in products like Hasbro toys or games or other brand name products? Well, we just recommend applying to get ungated at every opportunity you have. The best way you can get restrictions lifted is to sell more and more items. Build up your account health. Show Amazon that you're a faithful and consistent seller, and they'll give you more opportunity to sell. Ryan P., I send lots of heavy items in for FBA, and I still find it to be advantageous. So that's a judgment call. Do either of you use the shipping label that Amazon provides in the shipping plan, or do you use your own shipping account? I thought about getting a billing account for UPS, which is cheaper. I don't know how you could get any cheaper than Amazon. It's dirt cheap, so I always use what Amazon provides through its partnered carrier agreement. Do people who do Amazon FBA make more or less than people who do drop shipping? What's your answer to that, Alan?
I know drop shipping is going to be very, very low margins. So it's usually arbitrage is going to give you higher margins with my experience. So I think you're gonna be able to sell less, way less in total sales, and still do a lot better profit margins doing arbitrage than doing drop shipping.
Good. Doug 701, just out of curiosity, the stuff you have to sell on eBay, is your eBay account set up as a business or just in your name? I set mine up as a business because it's part of what I do for my business. Is it true if you don't have a pro seller account, you lose eligibility for the buy box? I don't think so. With an individual seller account, do you ever get the buy box? Yeah, so whether or not you have a pro or individual account has no bearing on whether or not you win the buy box. No. Whether you send in FBA or do FBM, that does. Your price is probably the biggest factor if it's a competitive price, but no, what account you have doesn't have any bearing on that. What tools does someone need for prepping products? We go into all these details in the membership. You need labels, you need box cutters, you need poly bags, and anything that would go into being able to completely put items together. So I have a whole variety of different sized bags. I have a variety of different sized boxes. I have labels and a printer, tape gun, all that kind of stuff. We recommend using heat guns to remove labels. Again, we go into a lot of detail and all that in the membership. If you start out with a pro seller account and eventually decide you're not selling enough and downgrade to an individual account, I heard it's difficult to get back as a pro seller account. To my knowledge, it's not difficult to go back and forth between the two, but do you know differently, Alan?
No. I mean, as long as you, one thing that you can do is contact Amazon before you do any changes, and usually you don't have any issues with that.
Good. Noel asks if the coronavirus has caused sales to slow down at all. My experience, I mean, right now we're a little over 2 months into 2020. I've had the best year I've ever had. 2020 has been absolutely fantastic. So I don't know if that's just because I'm getting so good at what I do or if it's just a good selling year, but I'm just being silly. But no, I haven't noticed any sort of decrease due to the coronavirus. It's been for February, my goodness. February is one of the slowest months of the year typically, and I had a really good February. I'm thrilled about how February went. So should I get a pro member account for the 99 cent per item if I'm getting a lot of different items in small quantities? Nicole, Nicole's asking, you've heard in the last few questions, you can get, when you sign up for an account at Amazon Seller Central, you can get an individual account. It's free, but Amazon's going to charge you an additional $1 per item when you make sales on Amazon. Or you can sign up as a professional member, and I think there's some other perks to being a professional member, but they're not really important when you're beginning. And that costs $39.99 a month, but they waive that $1 fee. So if you sign up as a professional and sell 40 items in a month, you're kind of at your break-even point just from an account perspective. My suggestion to you, Nicole, is that you just start with a pro account. If your goal is to sell 40 items a month, I think that's a very doable goal to achieve in a short period of time. So I would say, Nicole, sign up for a pro member account, find a lot of products, even if you're doing small quantities, purchase our Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership, and we'll help you get fully launched so that it's proven to be a great decision, both to get the pro account and our membership. Millie, how long does it usually take to get ungated from a category? Is it based on performance or time? What do you say, Alan?
It depends on how aggressive you're going to be at building your business, because we've had members in the community that, they sold 10 items within 2 months, and, they're not going to get anywhere, trying to get approval from new accounts. But we have other members that within the first 2 months, they're at 300, 400 units sold, and they're getting they're getting approved for a lot of different brands. So it really depends on how much time and dedication you're gonna put into your business, and as the more sales you do within the first few months, the more openings you're gonna have with new brands.
Good. Amazon will not. Let's see. So your PPC campaign only applies to items that are eligible for the buy box. So just answering CD's question here. They don't suppress your PPC campaign per se, but your PPC campaign is only going to be active on products in your inventory that have the buy box.
Right.
Last question, Alan, what scouting app do you recommend?
I use the Amazon app, and I use Scoutify. Scoutify is from Inventory Labs, and so far it gives me everything I need, all the data that I need to be able to make decisions. So those are the two that I jump back and forth. I do have another app, but it's mostly for my team, and it's just a little bit different, and we explain that in the training. But the main ones I use for me is the Amazon Seller app and Scoutify.
Good. I've never used anything in the 5+ years that I've sold on Amazon other than the Amazon Seller Central app. To me, it's completely adequate to do everything that you need. Well, this has been a great hour. Thanks for the good questions. Let me encourage you to take advantage of the links below. Look into Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. It is a great membership. You will be glad that you made the investment. Look into Ecom 2020. Love to see you in Austin in a couple months. There's other stuff in the description that you can check out. We talked about prep centers. You can click a link there and get access to 72 prep centers. There's other cool stuff in the description. Check it out. Subscribe to Just One Dime if you haven't done so already, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you've got some fun stuff planned, and you can have a great time. Give ample consideration, if you haven't already, to doing Amazon FBA. Gaining margin in your budget, even if it's only $100, $200, $300, is really helpful and can be really encouraging to you. So I want to wish many blessings on all of our viewers. We'll see you again next week at noon Central Standard Time if you can tune in. Alan, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, everybody.